Hello, good afternoon, my dear brothers and sisters, and you are welcome to this moment of the Word of God. We continue our meditations on the book of Joshua. Today we get to chapter 7, 8, and 9. As we said in the beginning, we only give the summary and the essential points so that by doing your own meditations, you will get in touch with what God is telling you in your daily life. So in Joshua chapter 7, it will begin with the children of Israel getting ready to take the city of Ai, to scout how they could or how they would take the city. Little did Joshua know that a man named Achan of Judah had taken something out of Jericho, something that God prohibited them in doing. He did so for his own personal use and greed, as we see in our world. In the materialist world that we live in, most people are grieved to these things and they find it very difficult to dissociate themselves. And by so doing, they have less time for their Christian faith. They have less time for their Christian vocation. He taking a Babylonian garment, some gold and silver. He coveted these things which cost him his life. Not only his life, his wife and children, and his animals. We can say this similar to what happened to Adam in the book of Genesis. You want to be like God, you want to take things, you are by disobedience, you go against the will of God. Joshua then said, when he sent them as scouts to the city, that the city isn't big. They can only send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it. So they went, Ai attacked, and God allowed them to attack so Israel lost about 36 men and retreated. Joshua is going to petition God about what happened. He doesn't understand. God is with them, so what happened? And God tells him something, or someone has. They are cursed things. And that is why they lost the battle. So because of the sin of Achan, it affected the whole community and their war. God says once they fix the matter, they will resume their victory. But not a moment before. Joshua set in motion the method to correct the matter. So Israel is said to come up tribe by tribe, family by family, man by man. And God will reveal the person. So that is how the whole chapter 7 is going to be. So in chapter 8, it begins with God's encouragement to Joshua to go now and take the city of Ai. This time, Israel can take spoil they get from themselves. God gives Joshua the ambushing plan, so new strategies to be able to take the city. They sent men in the rear of the city, and the other half to attack as before in the front. They pretended to be taking as it happened the first time. Only this time the men set in the rear would take the city and set it on fire. It worked. Ai chased after the men in front, leaving the city open and torched to fire by Israel. Israel genocide 12,000 people of Ai and took the city of Ai alive. They brought him and hung him on a tree. So they took the king of Ai and took him down, threw his body at the gates of the city. That was strictly gold or cold. So the chapter ends with Joshua writing and reading all the words of the law, the blessings and cursings that was written in the book of the law that was his commandment. So Joshua read it to the entire congregation of Israel, the women and the children and strangers who were conversant with or among them. So we get to chapter 9, which will review how the Gibeonites were able to swindle the leaders of Israel and preserve their lives through an oath. This chapter began as all the kings of Canaanite lands gathered together. They gathered to learn what they should do concerning the newly powerful people of Israel, newly powerful people out of Israel. They heard what the children of Israel were doing, And they all gathered together to fight Joshua and Israel in one accord. One of the nations, the inhabitants of Gibeon, decided not to fight. They prudently marched, calculated that fighting would be a losing battle. Instead, they decided to pretend they were from a far-off country, and they planned to secretly enter into a league with the children of Israel. They felt this was a better idea than attempting to fight Israel off. The Gibeonites pretended to be from a distant land and came to Israel because they heard of all what Joshua's God has done in Egypt. They told Joshua that they had journeyed all the way to make a league with Israel, to become allies. Joshua and the elders of Israel did not cancel the laws and move forward into a covenant with people they were supposed to lay or to slay. Words were given and papers were signed, so that was when our accord was made. 3 days later, the children of Israel found out that they were duped, hustled and deceived. Worse than that, they learned that there was nothing they could do about it. The only thing the Israelites go out of the deal was that they made the Gibeonites servants to them. Gibeon would have to hew wood and become the beast of burdens for Israelites forever. So that is how the chapter 9 is going to end. So we start from the city of Ai, we come to the new strategies, and then this conquest they had. God bless you in your meditation. See you soon to share the word of God once again. Be strong, be firm, consult God in whatever you do, and you be always a blessing. May God bless you all.